is happening, people? So this afternoon, my wife and I are going to do some target practice. My wife Paula is helping me today, and she's going to be my shooter. And everybody calls her Miss P. She's had that nickname for 35 years. So I'm going to show you guys at home how I teach my wife or my daughter or my son or daughter-in-law some scenarios and how I practice, or how I teach them to practice on the shooting range. Now, of course, we're not on a shooting range. This is just a little range that I have set up, a few targets in the woods where, I practice shooting. So if we go down range, and I'm going to practice, we're down here this afternoon and we're going to fire a few rounds. And this is very important if you own a handgun or you own a gun, to go out and practice the methods that you're going to use. If you're a concealed carry person, then you need to practice drawing that weapon from wherever you carry the weapon, whether it's on your belly, on your side, in your back, whether you have the weapon in a pocketbook. You need to know how to draw that weapon and fire it. In the heat of the moment when you need to use your firearm, you don't have time to think, what am I going to do? Or how am I going to draw it? Now, I want to add this. Not everyone should carry their wife out to help them shoot. So shooting is very emotional. First of all, most people are afraid, scared of what's getting ready to happen. They're scared of actually failing and missing the target. And it's also an adrenaline rush for the shooter. That's why we enjoy going out and shooting. Not necessarily means that you should teach your wife to shoot, because they may not want to take direction from you. You may be harsh, or you may be loud. And you don't need that when you're teaching a shooter to shoot that's not familiar with shooting a lot, not like some of us are. So I'm just the average guy. I have had 17 years of firearms training, just basic training, nothing out of the ordinary. And I know some of you guys out here, when you watch this film, you're going to say, he shouldn't have done that, or he should have did this. But this is me personally and how I do it. And I've done this video for anyone out there that don't shoot a lot, that wants some instructions in what they should and how they should go about teaching someone, and how they should go about learning to shoot and to practice. Now, one thing that I always ask shooters, now my daughter-in-law especially, she gets mad at me. I ask her these questions. Remember, number one, she's got a pistol. I know she does. I say, do you know where your pistol's at? Number two, is your pistol loaded? Number three, does your pistol have a safety? Not have a safety. Number four, where is the ammo for your pistol? So all of these questions, in the heat of the moment, when something is happening, just like those scenarios you've seen at the beginning of the video, you don't have time as a shooter to think about all of these questions. It has to be muscle memory, and it has to be done quickly. So if you decide to take someone out and take on that challenge, first of all, the shooter needs to have confidence in that you can teach them what they need to know. So as you're teaching them, someone to shoot or to fire a weapon, you should have no great expectation of them whether they're going to be able to hit the bullseye every time they shoot. That should be sent out the window, especially if someone doesn't practice a lot. So the main thing is, you want to teach the shooter to be safe, to draw the weapon, to come out safely, safety zone, and to follow all safety protocols is number one. Hearing and eye protection is number two. So as you're teaching someone, some of the things that you need to be, that you as the instructor need to do, is you need to be reassuring the shooter that they're doing a good job. You also need to be calm at all times, because the shooter is having an emotional experience. So you as a teacher should be calm at all times during your instructions. A monotone voice, not loud, not overly shouting out orders, unless someone does something very dangerous. And this quiet approach, as I call it, helps to calm the person that's actually shooting and practicing. So now let's get started with our actual practice. that we're going to do. Now, first of all, the first thing that you should do, number one, is to allow the shooter, if they don't shoot a lot, is to allow the shooter to become familiar with their clip, where the safety is, how to load, how to safely load, how to safely unload their weapon. And they should be proficient in doing that. That is key. So Miss P is going to be my shooter today, and I'm going to be offering some instructions. Also, she's going to practice with her concealed carry apparatuses in drawing that and actually firing too. So hey guys, let's get started. And here's the ammo here. You'll be loading your clip. So Miss P is in the process of finishing loading her clip, and she's going to put the clip in the weapon, and she's going to put it on safe. Well, she's going to rack one first, and then she's going to put the gun on safe, and then she's going to holster it. So for the first instruction when someone is learning to shoot, now Miss P has her weapon on her side, and that's her practice holster that she uses most of the time. And always, whatever strong hand the shooter is, she's got her weapon. Miss P's got her weapon on her strong side, and she uses this mainly. She usually uses this mainly when we're just practicing, we're out shooting. Now she has some concealed carry holsters that she uses when she's actually carrying her weapon. But for this practical purpose, we're shooting from the holster on the strong side. So if we go down range, and I'm going to practice, and we're going to practice from about 10 feet. We have a target here, and this is target number 2, and this is for a later scenario. So about 10 feet is how you want to shoot. And if you're just practicing, you want to get familiar with sight picture and just actually shooting the target. So I'm going to get Miss P now to move down here, and we got to get our eyes and ears on. Now I'm going to have Miss P to, now all my practice is going to be double tap except when we're doing scenarios. Now I like the double tap just because lots of times one round misses, so I usually, if I'm telling someone to shoot, is a double tap. So I'm going to have Miss P to start off with. She hadn't fired the first round. I'm going to tell Miss P to draw your weapon when you're ready and fire 2 rounds and reholster. Put your safety back on. Put your safety back on and you'll holster. Now, this is what I'm talking about now. She hadn't shot in a while, and so nerves get the best of you. So she fired and she hit the target where she was supposed to. Good shooting, matter of fact. And so I'm giving instruction, put your safety back on because we want to do things safe. And as your shooter begins to shoot and get more familiar with shooting, they'll start to become comfortable and they'll get more efficient, if you know what I mean. Okay, go ahead. We're going to draw and we're going to fire 2 rounds. And I want you to go low, ready, and cover. Lower your gun just a little bit. You ready? Now keep it up. So because there may be someone. Now yep, right, low, ready. Okay, raise it. Fire 1 more round. Now check your weapon. Is it empty? Mm-hmm. So your weapon is empty. Now why don't you come on back over and go ahead and release that and load again. So you're going to do several rounds, and I'm limited for daylight this afternoon. And let me take this off. It sounds like I'm hollering at you guys. So while Miss P loads around. Now, so the first few times you're going to allow your shooter to fire 2 rounds or 1 round or whatever they're comfortable with till they get comfortable with shooting that way. And this is just familiarization with your weapon loading and unloading. So we're going to move on to the second scenario that we're going to do. So Miss P is getting ready. She's putting her concealed carry belt on, and this is what she uses when she's out exercising and walking and jogging or whatever. And so at this time during the practice, always ask, does the shooter have any questions? And it may be a question on aiming point, it may be a question on loading, it may be any form of question. And when you ask someone, do they have questions, it lets them know that you're open to receiving. It shows them that you want to hear what they have to say, and in that turn makes them more comfortable. And that's what this whole thing is about, making the shooter comfortable with what they're doing. So at this time, I'm gonna get Miss P. She's gonna come back around. And like I said, normally I would run at least five clips with just simple drawing and firing, loading, holstering, using your safety, and firing. See, she's got her belt holster on. Now this is her holster here that she uses. It goes up underneath her shirt, and I told her to tuck her shirt in. Actually, can you pull your shirt tail out like you would normally wear it? And so, and I tell you why. I want her to pull her shirt tail out, and I want to mimic exactly the scenario she would have if she had to draw her firearm and use it. So you see that she's kind of high profile here because this shirt is fairly tight. So I want her to, again, I'm gonna stand behind her. I'm gonna stand just behind her. So again, I'm gonna instruct to draw your weapon and fire 2 rounds and stay at low ready. Because in this scenario, if you're out and about and you have to fire your weapon, you probably will not put your gun back up, but you will lower your weapon to assess the threat, right? Everybody with me on that? Also, anytime you're ready, Miss P, you draw your weapon and you fire 2 rounds whenever you're ready. Stay at low ready. She's still at low ready. Now Miss P is still at low ready. So I'm gonna give her instructions. Your threat is still coming. Fire 2 more rounds. Or fire till they stop. Let's do that one. And you are empty. And at this point, you would either put a new clip in or either you would be retreating. Very good shooting. I hope the other camera's running on that. Very good. Now, Miss P, will you holster your weapon and come around and get your other concealed carry ready? Now, you can see Miss P has a concealed carry pocketbook. Unzip it for him right there, Miss P. She has to unzip it and unzip it and reach in and just pull the weapon out a little bit. So boom, there's the weapon right there. It's concealed in her pocketbook. So when she goes, so I'm going to instruct Miss P to draw her weapon. And again, this may seem kind of crazy to some people, but if she ever had to use this firearm out of this pocketbook and she's never done it before, her hand is going to be fumbling for where the weapon is. And she's got to find the safety. So I want her to practice now so it is familiar with her if she ever had to use it. So let's get started. Fire 2 rounds. Now, again, you noticed automatically she put her gun in a low ready position because that's what we've been practicing right there. See how that's automatic? The safety is still off, so she can easily raise the firearm and she can fire another round that target if that assailant's coming. Very good, very good. And she also dotted the target. Very good. Okay, so our third scenario that I always teach is multiple perps or multiple attackers. So for this scenario, and you want to run through this because you want someone to be able to shoot a target. You want someone to be able to fire twice, and then there may be a second attacker, fire twice. The first attacker is getting up off the ground, still attacking, and then fire the threat that continues to come. Now, as Miss P, as she is firing, I'm going to be giving instructions, and I'm going to be close behind her. And I hope we can get this on film. So I'm going to stretch this out. Now you go when you're ready. This is the first attacker that's in front of you. Go when you're ready. Attacker's coming. Fire 2 rounds. Attacker coming to the right. Fire to the right. Fire to the right. Good. Now back on your other one. Backing away. Firing. You're still coming. You still firing. Backing away. Firing. You still firing. You still coming. You're still coming. Now you have to run. Very good. Now Miss P did really good. She hit every shot she fired. That was 7 rounds, and she hit every shot she fired. That was very good. Very good shooting. Yeah, you did. You did good. You did good. I wouldn't want her shooting at me, guys. Hey guys, we've had a lot of fun this afternoon. So I hope we still got some daylight. So by no means am I saying that I am the perfect teacher. And all I want to do in this video is to spark your interest and to be thinking about some things to keep your family safe. And I don't care if you're a mom, you're a sister, your dad, your brother, your cousin. If you know someone who has a firearm, and it, regardless of what it is, it could be a pistol, a shotgun, whatever it is, they need to be proficient with that firearm. And another thing that I teach is you never let an assailant get closer than 10 feet. If you allow someone to get closer than 10 feet, they will have your weapon. I can guarantee you that. So you never let anyone come within 10 feet of you. If you have to pull a weapon on someone, you will have to use it to keep them from getting a weapon. Because once they get that weapon, then they have a weapon to use on you. So I know that's going to probably get me some dislikes out there, but that's nothing but the whole truth out there. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it sparked you. Hey, get out there and practice with those guns. It's a lot of fun getting out shooting in the afternoons or morning. Get to the firing range, use this. If you don't feel comfortable teaching this and doing it for yourself, get with someone who teaches instructions and go to the range and shoot and have a good time and have some fun. That's the main thing. And remember to keep this short. Now she don't shoot a lot, and I'm sure her wrist is going to be sore tomorrow. So you can't expect some of these ladies to come out and fire 50 rounds in the afternoon if they're not used to it, because it hurts the hand. So anyway, keep it short, keep it fun. Hey guys, you remember, it's a wildlife, and I'll see you in the field. Yep. Good. Go when you're ready. Attacker's coming. Fire 2 rounds. Attacker coming to the right. Fire. Good. Now back on your other one. He's getting up off the ground and backing up.